How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about BBIG. You could probably hear from my voice, I haven't been feeling well as of late, so that's why I was unable to give you guys some updated videos. But if you guys remember, I was talking about the gap that needed to be filled to the downside. We ended up filling in that gap. So a lot of people are asking me, where do I see this stock going? So of course, we're going to make an update for this coming week. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for BBIG. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $2.77, being up 1.84%. On the low, it tested $2.58, and then on the high, testing $2.78. We take a look at the volume stats on the day. You can see we traded at 14.684 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 21.825 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, but we did see some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 47.79. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, we're also below the 100-day, we're also below the 21-day EMA, and we're also below the 50-day. So taking a look at this price action, and like I spoke about in previous videos, we have officially filled in the gap that was right here around 258. We had a low of the day on Friday at 258. So as far as for the high, which is at 278, if you want to see some strength, you want to see a reversal, then we need to see some price action at least above the 21-day EMA, which is at 286, and then making that move to the 100-day, which is at 297. The moment we can get above these levels, BBIG comes back to $3. And that's where things can get very interesting for this stock. As far as for the high in that $3 range that we reached, it's around 345. So if we're able to pass 345, then I want to see a move we can get past $3.80. This is another point that I also discussed as well, because breaking through 380, we can look forward to testing right here at the 200-day before we have some selling pressure and so forth. Now, if this week decides to be bearish and BBIG wants to pull back some more, then don't be surprised if you see us testing right here around $2.33. Again, it trades in the tech sector, so you got to be prepared for this. So if you are thinking about getting into a position, I'll be waiting for a dip. So if it gets down to 233 and there's some weakness, then we'd want to see if support could hold up right here around 207 and of course right here at $2. It hasn't broken through this level for quite some time, and the last time this has happened was back on March the 14th. So breaking through this level, it can get very interesting since we know the 52-week low is at $1.94. I'll continue to keep you updated. So now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for BBIG. So for the off-exchange short volume ratio, it's at 49.49%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 4.03 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.1 million, updated 6 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 46.07%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we could see for the close of the 7th, it was at 50.36, and then for the close of the 8th being at 49.49. So this is significantly high for the short volume ratio. The short borrow fee is something we want to keep in consideration as well, and then when we take into consideration the short interest percentage of the float, it is at 14.25%. So what this shows us, BBIG does have some short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for BBIG. So we see on the inflow, it is at 7.42 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 8.23 million. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 4.47, and then on the small, it was 2.95. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0.20. On the medium, it was 5.25, and then on the small, it was 2.78. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for April the 8th, so the Friday that just passed, it was at 0.2 million, being a negative outflow. We also did see outflows on the 7th and as well as for the 5th. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, you can see that we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we took a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. Also keep in mind, all of these numbers that I go through are in the millions. So now taking a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 7.85%. So this is not too bad for a volatile stock like BBIG. And it was great to see that it was able to post up a green day on the Friday as well. So we want to see how it's going to perform for this coming week. So let's get into the final thoughts right now. So for my final thoughts for BBIG in regards to the price action, since we had the gap filled to the downside at 258, I want to see some strength. If we don't see any strength and we have a pullback for this coming week, we know that there's some key CPI data that's coming out, so this will add to volatility. Then I want to see support holding at $2.31. If this level breaks, then BBIG can come back down to around $2.15, and of course it could test $2. And this is an area of significance. I could see a lot of traders and as well as investors want to pile in, because we know for a fact this stock is very well known for making strong moves to the upside, especially when there's a lot of short interest involved. Because when we went on Fintel, we can clearly see it has short squeeze potential and it still has high short borrow fees, well over 40%. So just knowing this, all we need is some more buying pressure, more strength coming into the tech sector, and BBIG can make a move to the upside. And also getting some updates in regards to the spinoff with Tide and so on. I think this will give investors even more confidence and bring some more attention to the stock. So again, we are waiting on that update. If it decides to be bullish now, then the levels you want to look out for, yes, is that move going to $3. We know that $3 has been a psychological area. And the moment we can get to 3 and we have bulls stepping in, I want to see the price being pushed up so we can pass 360. The moment we pass 360, we make that move to 380, and then that next level being right at $4, which is a well-known area for many traders who take profits. So this is why it is very important that you have a strategy in place. You just don't want to blindly buy a stock hoping for it to go up. The market doesn't care about your emotions, and they don't care about, hey, what you want the stock to do. It's paying attention to the technicals and trading off that momentum, following the trend. So since we see a lot of weakness in tech, even though BBIG did post up a green day on the Friday, we could see a further pullback for the week, and that's why I want you to be aware of the opportunity if you're willing to consider it. Of course, I can't give you guys financial advice, but again, once that gap got filled, it made BBIG a more interesting play, because when you have a stock that is trading above a well-known gap to the downside, many traders are not going to be touching that. It's just not worth the risk, and that's why I always emphasize, if you wanted to jump into the play, you want to use the right risk management. Or you could say to yourself, well, you know what, I'm going to wait for them to fill in the gap. I know this play has some upside, and that's what I'm going to be taking my position. So for anyone who's trading or interested in investing in this play for the coming week, do your homework and as well as your due diligence. Also know we have that CPI data that's going to be coming out, which could have a significant impact on the markets. If it ends up being higher than estimates, that's where I can see the market pulling back quite a bit. We already know how hawkish the Fed has been as of late, but if it ends up being below expectations, hey, maybe we pretty much have reached a peak, because it's going to be taking into consideration the stats that were in March. So that's why I want to make sure you're very clear on that, because if it ends up being below expectations or right at expectations, and we have the feds who are going to be going hawkish moving forward, we might be able to see some more buyers jumping into the stock because, again, everything has already been digested. We have to understand that the market is forward looking. So that's why I'm saying have a plan, have a strategy, and this is a play that you're going to want to watch. And of course, I will continue to keep you guys updated. We'll talk soon.